So what lifestyle does a future Erie County resident want? Millcreek probably has that to offer for them. Being Millcreek made, I love that concept because it allows us to pay homage and tradition to our roots, right? You know, we're Northwest Erie County, we're blue collar manufacturing, we're working, but we also recognize that we're going somewhere different as we head into the 21st century. And I think Millcreek really captures that well. When you think about what we have to offer here in Millcreek, we've got, you know, a lot of the manufacturing happening right here in Millcreek, but we also know that as we grow and especially as we take advantage of our great natural resources, we really think about how Erie County can thrive and how Millcreek can be at the center of that. You know, Millcreek as a community is fantastic to me. I mean, I think when we bring people into the college and say, hey, we want you to come be part of America's newest community college, I love being able to talk about the different neighborhoods and communities we have right here in Erie County, but Millcreek really encapsulates all of them. You can be down on the waterfront in the condos. You can get the traditional kind of suburban feel. You know, you've got a lot of variety here, and I think Millcreek really, where we're situated here in Millcreek, gives us that ability to really attract different people. So what lifestyle does a future Erie County resident want? Millcreek probably has that to offer for them. There's this great sense of pride being part of Millcreek, especially where Erie County Community College, our West Campus, sits. We are literally right here in the heart of everything. We're right next to West Erie Plaza, which has some great history and the growth of Erie and Erie County as a whole. And then we're just a couple miles away from perhaps one of the greatest parts of Millcreek, and that's the Presque Isle. I mean, I think as somebody who wasn't raised here, I visited out to Erie, and really Presque Isle is where I spent my time. That is really the draw and the attention. And as we're building that gateway into Presque Isle, I think that's going to allow us to even highlight and showcase the area even more. Where should Millcreek go in the future? So I think it's really where America needs to go. We need to continue to grow. We need to recognize our economic vitality relies on jobs. We need to understand the world is changing. And the community college housed right here in Millcreek is a perfect example of what we need to do there. We need to recognize that the skills needed for tomorrow are much different than the skills needed for yesterday. And as a community, we're open and we're progressive, and we understand that. And we want to thrive in that. And to do that, not only do we need to have the skills, but we need to have the jobs here. So we need to bring companies in, and to do that, we really need to make this a place that people love to live and work. And that's one of the things that makes me most proud of Millcreek, is that when you talk to the folks here, when you talk to our neighbors, they are proud to live and work right here in Millcreek. What makes Millcreek unique? I think parts of Millcreek that I love is literally the variety of life. Like right where we're at on our Erie West campus at the community college, I can walk across the street to a brand new restaurant, Saigon Nights. I can go down to the Colony Plaza, get that. I can jump in the car and head up to the mall, where you get that kind of, you know, I grew up in the 90s, so that's kind of my life. The malls were heaven. So I think just the vibrancy of what the opportunities are here. And then when I'm not at work, there's lots to do in Millcreek that I love. I spend a lot of time out on Presque Isle. I love to ride my bike out there. I love to go deal with the wind and the sand, and even though this time of the year it's a little cold and chilly out there, it's still fun to do. And I also like the vibrancy. We're right here, one of our great partners that are next door to us, the Montessori School. We've worked closely with them. They're taking their front property, they've really cleaned that up, and they're going to put some walking trails in there. We just added a 6-hole disc golf course, trying to make people enjoy the great, beautiful nature that we have out here. So Millcreek's unique because it has a little bit of everything. For whatever it is that you want, we've got it right here in Millcreek. My favorite Millcreek moment. So it's an interesting story in what landed me out here in Northwest Pennsylvania. So I was coming back from a vacation with my family in New York, and we happened to drive right on the interstate. And the deal I have with my kids at that point in time, if they give me good hours in the car, we'd stay in a hotel, and then we'd go do something fun the next day. So my first introduction to Millcreek was, we happened to stay in this town called Erie, Pennsylvania, somewhere off the interstate. I don't even remember where it was, and didn't know much about Erie at that point in my life. So at that point, I probably asked the hotel, because it might have even been pre-internet, trying to figure out, what am I going to do that next day? What's that promise? Can I find a putt-putt golf place or something? Well, everyone said, go out to this thing called Presque Isle. And so that next morning I got up and took my kids. Now, secretly as a dad, I just wanted to get there, do their activities so we can get back on the road and get another 8 to 10 hours driving. But I tell you what, we loved it as our family. We absolutely loved it. We loved it so much that we've actually then vacationed out here a year or two after that. We came out specifically to explore the area even more. So not only did we find Prescott, but we found some of the great hiking in the trails here. Everyone told me about the fish run. We were in the wrong season for that, but I'll tell you, if you haven't done that yet, as someone fairly new to Northwest Pennsylvania, you've got to get out there when the steelhead are running. That is just an amazing sight. So I'm a nature guy, so my favorite moments are those moments where we can recognize the beauty. If you haven't sat out on the bay and watched the sunset, and if you're from here and you know about the sunset, you think I've done that, you're forgetting how beautiful nature is. Get back out there. I try to do it a couple times a year. I try to intentionally say I'm going to go to one of the parks, I'm going to grab my blanket, maybe a cooler, and I'm just going to sit out there and watch the sunset, because you just can't beat that. If someone were looking to move to Millcreek, I think I'd really start by asking them, what are you looking for? Right? Because Millcreek has such a variety to offer, right? Again, as I mentioned before, we bring people here into the college, and I really say, what lifestyle are you looking for? I tell you, there's the young kind of hip scene that happens right here around West Erie Plaza. There's the more traditional scene up on where the interstates meet. You've got so much variety here. We've got, one of the things I love to tell people about is the small shops we have here, the thriving small business community we have here. I have my favorites. I try to visit them every once in a while. You can eat at a different restaurant every night if you wanted. You can find small shops. I love gift ideas in Erie are the easiest thing ever, because you can't go anywhere down that 12th Street corridor without finding these amazing shops where the owners are actually the ones behind the counter there, and you talk to them about unique gifts and so forth. So I think that really the diversity we have in terms of lifestyles and the diversity we have in terms of people and ideas is one of the things that I really appreciate about Millcreek.